The Dodgers lose a coach to one of baseball's biggest losers. With deals beginning, we are going to try to reset the Dodgers offseason with a little bit of common sense. And the Lakers continue to create reasons, both real and imagined, to explain benching D'Angelo Russell. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos Morning Report. It's November 11th, 2024. I am so happy to be home. This travel is nuts. We are back in the sanctum sanctorum of LA sports, and if you like being in the know about LA, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that and let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment. Now, before we go through the news and notes, a look at the scoreboard. Chargers 27, Tennessee 17. What you saw was the blueprint, in my opinion. 3 consecutive weeks of Chargers dominance. This is a team under complete control. Jim Harbaugh said what he wanted to do. They're executing it step by step. Methodical, absolutely glorious. Now, it's not thrilling football. We talked about how Justin Herbert isn't throwing for tons of yards, but the guy completed 14 of 18 passes. Complete control. Rushed for a touchdown and passed for a touchdown. It's like we talked about before the season. The Chargers are not doing what their theme song would brag about. They're not dazzling you with super play. It's not thunderbolts and lightning lighting up the sky. It's 7 sacks on defense, guys. Hell, it's keeping the opponent from getting more than 17 points, which is something they've done 8 times so far this year. You can win a lot of football games when you hold a team to fewer than 17 points. It's splitting the carries between J.K. Dobbins and the returning Gus Edwards to continually bruise the opposing team. And I know it's a culture shock for many Charger fans, but they simply go out, get themselves a 2-score lead, and they know their defense will not give it up. It's very compelling football to me. Old school. And I'm up there in years, so yeah, I can appreciate that. Lakers 123, Toronto 103. Now, the Lakers are 6-4, and that doesn't set the world ablaze, but it sure as hell beats those starts under Darvin Ham. LeBron James effed around and got a triple-double, 19 points, 10 rebounds, 16 assists. Austin Reeves led with 27 points. Anthony Davis left the game in the third quarter with an eye injury he didn't return. He was hit in the same eye twice last year, but even then he did not return looking like Kareem, so I'd expect likewise. Meanwhile, today, Miami's at the Rams at 5:15. It is true that the Rams have rallied back into playoff contention with 3 consecutive wins, but you know who is also on a winning streak? Arizona. The Cards are on a 4-game winning streak, so yeah, it would kind of behoove the Rams to get a W tonight. By the way, if you're going to the game, welcome back Jalen Ramsey. The Clippers are at Oklahoma City at 5. They are on a 4-game winning streak. That would be the Clips, by the way. Boston is at UCLA at 7. I do not know the AP rankings yet. I presume that UCLA fell out after losing to New Mexico. The Kings are at Calgary at 5:30, and I can't say I totally believe in the Kings, but they do lead the Pacific Division. Not Edmonton, not Vegas, so it's glorious. And let's get to the news. It was only a matter of time before other teams around Major League Baseball started feeding off of the Dodgers coaching staff. You've seen them grab at front office people before, right? Just these little nibbles. But now it's the coaching staff. Clayton McCullough gets his shot at managing. I would say it's a shot at managing in the major leagues, but this is the Marlins' job. And if there's one thing we know about Miami, that's not Major League Baseball, guys. Stop it. The dude's new squad lost 100 games last year. Now, McCullough has served as the first base coach in LA since 2021. He never made the majors as a player, but he managed for many years in Toronto's minor league system. He was also in the running for other managerial shots recently, such as Kansas City 2 years ago. Maybe he's thinking he could swing a similar turnaround. The Royals made the playoffs. If he is, he's pretty much by himself thinking that. I mean, dude, Craig Albornoz heard he was in the running for the Marlins job, and he was like, no, I'm not. Oh, no. I'm not in the running. I'm going to stay over here in Cleveland. Sounds much more optimistic to me. Cleveland versus South Beach. Now, McCulloch is pals with Miami's assistant general manager, Gabe Kapler, who used to be in the Dodgers front office. It's possible McCulloch can turn the ship around. Possible. But the big problem that the Marlins face is the same one that the Giants faced when they hired Kapler to manage and they took the Dodgers GM away, Farid Zaidi. Other teams want a piece of the Dodgers culture that Andrew Friedman put in place. A piece. The Dodgers culture doesn't exist in pieces. It's a whole entire unit. You don't get the culture simply by hiring a guy away. Ask Chris Woodward. Remember him? He was the Dodgers first base coach. The Texas Rangers hired him. They were under the impression he could bring a little Dodger baseball out to Texas. And it didn't work until they hired Bruce Bochy, who brought in his own ecosystem as well. So no, I'm not sanguine on McCulloch's shot out in Miami. But that's not our problem. It isn't. We're still in LA. So I ask you guys, has the championship hangover faded for you a little bit? I ask because the initial reaction of feeling drunk, feeling completely wasted, just slobbering all over yourselves with happiness, and then getting the hangover, it fits exactly the way the baseball sports writers have treated every title. Not just the Dodgers title, everyone. They always write the same thing. Oh my God, this is going to be a dynasty. This team is going to go after every free agent on the market. There will not be any more players left in Major League Baseball to play for the other team. So just hand the Dodgers every title from here till eternity. Wow, Mookie Betts to the infield. They're going to go after Juan Soto. The scribes are totally high on their own supply, is my point. They were writing that hyperbolic trash nanoseconds after Walker Buehler struck out Alex Verdugo. Okay? So now, realistically, we've enjoyed the title. We've got the fifth inning on DVR and we play it on a loop. You know, we've been to the parade. We've got the caps. We got the merch, right? Now let's calm down and say realistically, what do the Dodgers need? Not who they're going to get, because everybody's just throwing names against the wall like poop. What they need. So we know about what they could lose, okay? We know about the Dodgers free agents. And mostly when it comes to the Dodgers free agents, it's a discussion of either ors. Because if you look at the starting pitching, they have too many arms coming back to keep both Jack Flaherty and Walker Buehler. They might not keep either of them, frankly. But if I were to make a guess, they're going to make a play for Buehler because they can probably get him for cheaper. And I know this is not a cheap team, but finances are going to matter, and I'm going to tell you why in a minute. Then you have Blake Trinan versus Joe Kelly. That's an either or. And I think the answer is kind of obvious that they're going to keep Trinan. As for the dueling Hernandezes, Kike versus Teoscar, I say if the Dodgers decide to keep either of them, it's Kike. He has the Dodger ecosystem in his veins. He knows the Dodger way of doing things. He is their army knife. I'd say Swiss army knife, but the dude's from Mexico, so let's not do that. Teoscar was a bargain find late in the offseason, and he benefited from having 3 MVPs hitting ahead of him. I realize everybody loves the guy. I appreciate the guy. But you don't think the Dodgers can find another power hitter late in the offseason again? They didn't luck into Teoscar Hernandez. They knew exactly what they were doing when they got Teoscar Hernandez. late in the offseason, there will be a bargain find. Now, regarding Betts, regarding Soto, is Betts going to the infield? Look, the Dodgers outfield is not strong, even if Betts stayed in right. Andy Pages, Chris Taylor, James Outman, Tommy Edman, maybe Dalton Rushing doesn't exactly move too many needles. But this goes back to what we were talking about before. The Dodgers as a team have more money than Nvidia and Tesla. We all understand that. But they still have to contend with the salary cap. They're over the salary cap, but there are layers, just like the NBA, there are layers to the salary cap. They are $30 million away from the highest tax rate, which also punishes teams for making additional transactions. It doesn't mean you can't make any trades. It means that you have to fit certain things in order to do it. They are just $30 million away from that. So all of this, you take all of that information, all the random stuff, all the moving parts, you throw it in the pile, and it leads me to believe one thing. We have no effing clue what the Dodgers really intend to do. All of the hot rumors about Juan Soto and this, that, and the other, they're totally unsourced. Even worse, they're simple. Andrew Friedman does not do simple. Remember the trade deadline from last year? You didn't hear anything about the Dodgers. You just heard, random big names thrown around and this, that, and the other. But then right before the deadline, Andrew Friedman slid in with two complex deals. A 3-team, 5-player deal that brought in Jack Flaherty from Detroit. Then another 3-team deal that brought in Tommy Edman from St. Louis and Michael Kopech from the Chicago White Sox. So going after Juan Soto, yeah, I could see it if they really want to go crazy, but they don't do crazy. What I see them doing is, say, setting multiple mid-level prospects for an outfielder to replace Teoscar Hernandez if they don't find one in the bargain bin. That would help keep them under the third threshold because they're sending salary and getting salary back as opposed to just spilling more money everywhere. I can see them being happy with all these wild rumors about Juan Soto so that the Yankees or the Mets wind up getting into a bidding war for the guy. I'm saying the Dodgers have a tendency to be patient and then pull off something super complex. Look at the Matt Kemp trade from years ago. Look at all those trades that have gone on through the years of Andrew Friedman. That's what this offseason smells like to me. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread, of course. D'Angelo Russell, meanwhile, apparently wasn't benched simply because of lack of compete, as J.J. Redick told it. That's what J.J. Redick is saying. And I don't buy it. But I do want to share it, to be fair. Cam Reddish's perimeter defense is apparently a reason. Look, I'm skeptical of all of that because Redick pretty much has given lip service to playing defense. All we heard about the offseason was the offense. Oh, this guy's going to bring in this ridiculously clever playbook. Oh, they want to chuck up more three-point plays. Rui Hachimura is going to finally be the third option on offense. Let's have LeBron James set picks. That's all we heard about. We didn't hear diddly poo about perimeter defense. I don't think I ever heard the words coming out of his mouth. I don't even know if J.J. Redick ever used the word perimeter defense when he was a player. There's a better argument to be made that D'Angelo Russell was benched because the Lakers' bench was not good. Straight and simple. This is offense, offense, offense. The bench was 30th in scoring in the NBA. They re-signed Max Christie. He's not scoring. They brought in Gabe Vincent a year and a half ago from Miami. He's not scoring. They need a scoring person off the bench. And he doesn't play any defense whatsoever. Lack of compete. They don't expect bench players to compete as hard as starters. Simple as that. Norman Powell, sixth man turned Clippers savior. And like most saviors, he carries the weight of the world on his shoulders. Do you know that the Clippers have played 3 back-to-back games so far this year? 6 of their 10 games were back-to-back. And yet, to his credit, he's answered the demand. It's not James Harden leading their team in scoring. It's Powell, 25.5 points per game. He's the guy picking up the slack from Kawhi Leonard's absence, from Paul George abandoning ship. So it's actually very impressive if you're a Clippers fan. As the kids like to say, give him his flowers. A scribe yesterday wrote that Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford is the most underappreciated signal caller in the game. His argument, Patrick Mahomes is one of one, we all agree that, but then everybody starts listing randos like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. I know a lot of Charger fans who throw Herbert in that bin. And yet, there's Matthew Stafford in the top 10 all-time for passing yards, for touchdown passes. And the guy's never been selected as all-pro. So the argument also goes that Detroit was so bad for all those many years that he worked there that you have falsely assumed Stafford was just as sorry. Now, if you're a Rams fan like I am, you know all this. I'm happy to remind it to you guys again because I'm going to be getting wasted tonight watching the Rams play Miami and hoping for the best. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Are you seeing things the way I do for the Dodgers offseason? That it's going to be a little bit more complex than a blank check for Juan Soto? Do you buy into the Lakers actually wanting perimeter defense? And if you enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We talk LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Cortel Queso production. Take care.